This is Tim Willis, and armed only with a copy of OBS and a built-in laptop microphone. This is another video about a Nomad Funnelhacker. We're looking at a site called Logo Ipsum, and I did a video on this a while back. I may do an update video sometime in the future. But I want to start with the Logo Ipsum site, even though it's not the main subject of this video, as a basis to talk about the main subject. So Logo Ipsum is a site that has placeholder logos, and there's 134 of them currently, and they're all SVG files. You can download one of these and use it in your project if you don't have a real logo. I use these all the time, but if we're doing a mock-up, either for a client or because we want to show our work and what we can do, sometimes we use graphic that indicates what things could look like. Real business names, real publication names, real TV program names. And we are not going to get that from Logo Ipsum, but there is a site we can get them from. So this is CleanPNG, and all it does is provide images with transparent backgrounds. And we're on the main page of it right now. It's at CleanPNG.com. Scroll down, we have a bunch of just random images here, and they all have transparent backgrounds. So first of all, we like the fact that they have transparent backgrounds. That's one of the reasons why PNGs are used so much as opposed to a JPEG. The other reason why I recommend using PNG is a couple of reasons. Let's go down to our footer here and look at About. Because it's always important to look at the licensing and requirements when you're using one of these sites like this. So the part we're interested in is right here. Unlimited free download. And here it says all the transparent images in CleanPNG is free to download and unlimited. You do not need to register your email. Do not need to log in with your social account. First off, we don't have to subscribe to the site or log in or anything. That's kind of a bonus. The other thing is that a lot of sites like this will offer a free and a paid level, and they will let you download a generous selection of, say, icons for free, but there's a poison pill. If you're downloading them for free and using them in a project, in other words, commercial use, then that you're required to attribute. And attribution means you have to give credit to the creator of the image on the web page. In addition to being very annoying, attribution also means you're going to jack with that design of your website, because you have to now accommodate that attribution credit. With CleanPNG, there's no attribution required, as we're going to see later. So while these images are nice, they're not exactly what we want, because what we want is something that looks like a business name or a name of some organization. So in other words, this is the authority part of your website, saying who recommends you, what shows you've been on, and so forth. So let's go ahead and type in New York Times and do a search. And you see we come up with 28 PNG images with the subject New York Times. So here's something we could put in a mock-up. And we're going to see that I've used one of these in just a little bit. But let's see what happens if we click on this one. The first thing you're going to notice is you're going to have to go to a lot of advertising. That's how they pay for the site. Same thing here. When you get on this page, don't click on the first link you see. There's a lot of advertising here too. Very clickbaity, but that's the option to having to subscribe and having to pay. So they got to pay for the bandwidth somehow. Anyway, you want to come down here where the actual image is. And below that will be a description, the name of the contributor, a preview, and the size in kilobytes of the image. And then there below that are all the keywords they're using. And then finally below that is the free download button. That's the button you want to click. It'll bring up this actual download page, where after you are verified by Cloudflare, you can click on the button that says click to download. But look right below the button. Here's what we wanted to see. Unlimited downloads, no attribution. We already like this site. So you just click to download on the button. It's going to download to your download file. And these are all PNG files, so I mean they should work in any image editor or any program you could think of that builds web pages or sales funnels. Now, let's look at a real example of why we would want to do this. So this is a funnel that I'm working on, a lead squeeze funnel that started out using ClickFunnels Smart Funnel Builder tool. And then I started from that point and then made massive changes to that. The Smart Funnel tool is good for getting started, but it's very blocky and very generic if you just went with that. Granted, it does work. It's not the greatest funnel or web page ever you get from that because it is all just generated by AI. For example, this logo here and the header, I made that in Click Designs. The button I changed from the original button style they had, changed some of these text colors, text fonts, and so forth. This testimonial section, it originally was just text and a name, didn't have pictures, so I made it so it would have pictures. And so you get the idea. We started with basically what's a template, and then we made it our own. So here's the section we're interested in right here. This section right here, we see these names like CBS, New York Times, Wall Street Journal, Bloomberg. That was not originally there. The original version, to start off with, had a different colored background. I changed that. And then all these slots were originally filled with images from, guess what? Logo Ipsum. And so let's take a look at how different things will look when we use one of these names of a business or something that looks like it could be a real business. So let's go ahead and add another image. And we're going to go into our images. And I'm just going to pick out one of the logo Ipsum filler icons that is already here. We'll choose this one right here. All right. Now I am going to go to New York Times one. And for right now, I'm going to hide it. And you can do that by coming down here to your visibility section and clicking on the eyeball. And that will hide your image, but not delete it. So now we've got two kind of problems here. One is that we need to adjust the padding on this row to match the rest. But for sakes of this demonstration, you can see that the logo Ipsum icon is not nearly as eye-catching and attractive as having these other images that are the names of businesses. Let's go back into our layout. And the layout, I'll have to go and probably do a video on it too. But basically, the layout's pretty simple. It just contains a layout, a list rather, of all the things on your web page. And then here you can see where all the little desktop and mobile icons are all in blue except for this one. It's grayed out. Oh, that's the one that we hid. So we're going to go unhide it now by clicking there. And now it's come back. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of the logo Ipsum. We're back to New York Times. And now our column padding is like it should be. So that is why we would want to use these kind of business name icons in a mockup that we can find on CleanPNG. And that's a very, very good use for it, but it's not the only use. So let's do another search here on CleanPNG. Knowing now that we can download these images and use them without attribution, let's type in the word gem and see what we come up with. It says that we have 3,000 transparent PNG images that are tied to the keyword gem. And so here's a bunch of them. So this is the other use for CleanPNG, bearing in mind that we don't have to do attribution. And that is, if you have a client that's in the health and fitness niche, you can have a bunch of images here to use in that project, or at least use in your proposal. Again, we could click on any of these, click on an advertisement, click on free download, and then get to the download page where, again, no attribution is required. So that is the CleanPNG website. I recommend having it in your list of tools. It's going to be a handy place to quickly get a bunch of images that have a transparent background and that you can use without attribution, which means you can use them commercially. So that is the video for today. My name is Tim Willis. I'm a certified ClickFunnels funnel builder. I make tutorial demonstration videos on ClickFunnels, sales funnel building, web page design, and the tools like CleanPNG that we use to make all of that happen. That's the video for now. I'll talk to you later.